Okay, here we go. Yeah, you know, just stick to the caffeine these days, don't want to get too anxious. Uh, okay, let's crack on. So let's get into some proper hard science. Yeah. So disease pathology. Okay. Not my area of expertise. I was more, ecology, epidemiology stuff, and did public health as well. Yeah, hard stuff. Public health. Yeah. Will break you. Not enough, difficult decisions to make. Not enough money. Somebody's got to lose out. But anyway, yeah. So not in that world anymore. Let's go. Okay, although on epidemiological grounds, the etiology of the SGIA was thought to be infectious. Patients had no, okay, and here you're going to see all my medical words because those are not good, meningiocephalitic signs or symptoms. Yeah, so we ain't got the brain stuff. Yeah, weird brain folding. And also no fever, confusion, convulsions, or coma. No cerebral spinal fluid pectosis or elevated protein levels. And on autopsy, because there have been a few that have gone, definitely started in China. We'll come back to the epidemiology later, but there's currently about 3 sites, they're thinking. There's some weird stuff in it pops up out of order in other places as well. It's really weird. But yeah, 3 cities in China. There's some stuff in the Amazon as well. The ant guy. I gotta read that, but that's such a weird. I'll follow up on it and then I'll start talking about it because it's just a throwaway line in this paper. I got to follow up on that ant guy. Yeah. No perivascular cuffings or other sign of inflammatory brain pathology. So can't sleep, going insane, but none of the other regular stuff that you see, when you get like rabies and things like that. You get all this fever, convulsions, coma, elevated protein levels, loads of inflammation. The brain looks a mess, right? This is just doesn't seem to do that, right? Again, very strange. Some prion diseases look similar. Yeah, but not with the physical symptoms as well that you get, which we'll come to later. Yeah, it's a weird one, for sure. And it's coming. It's coming for us, soon. Anyway, neither the environmental nor attempted genetic studies, and man, there was some, a lot of genetics and lab work, drippers I used to call them, right? Just do the maths on the computer. Those guys just, it's very important, right? But it's kind of boring. Yeah. Loads of them in China, right? Loads of very talented experimental drippers in China, right? And yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 references, attempted genetic studies, all fails. Nothing extracted, nothing of note. Weird. Yeah. Nor attempted genetic studies provided any clues. Moreover, all attempts to transmit the SGIA to laboratory rodents or isolate any microorganism, including a virus, using tissue cultures or embryonated hen's eggs were successful. None of it worked. They can't find it. It only seems to live, and live is, we don't know, on metals and in us, as far as we can tell, apart from maybe the ants. Yeah. Anyway, in other wide-ranging investigations, neither exhaustive genetic analysis nor the search for nutritional deficiencies or environmental toxins resulted in a tenable hypothesis. So they tried all the other stuff as well. Like, is it just, is there heavy metal poisoning or some new, environmental thing or radiation or something? No, couldn't find anything like that. Progression of the disease does not appear to match any known pattern, being highly variable, capable of temporary external delays in onset or progression, or sudden dynamic bursts of what seemed like viral replication and disseminated infection. So these are the viral traits, right? So it hides in you and then it pops up in other areas of the body randomly, suddenly splurges out. It's non-inflammatory. It's actually, sort of, it's got those kind of like immunosuppressive characteristics as well, a little bit like AIDS, right? So it's like popping up. Your body doesn't deal with it well. It gets a surge. You get the characteristic oily. The colours of it, so weird. I can't show you the pictures. It's the colours. It's just the strangest colours. Like a drop of oil spilt on metal. And the more you look at it, they just keep coming. The more you look, the more colours you see. When you see it, you'll know. Yeah. You see that, like you see them in London sometimes, the cybers, the sex workers, the whole face. God, it's like, when you read stuff from the 18th, 19th century, before we had antibiotics, great pox, they used to call it. And it's covered, the face is rotting, But this isn't like that. It's sort of beautiful. Strange colours, Yeah. And some of them they wear it with pride, Strange. Very strange. So these traits so this is the other group, the virus guys and girls, lots of female scientists these days, support a viral infective agent, right? So this is Team Virus, okay? They suggested a potential zoonosis from an extremophile bacteria with either sulfur or metallic chemosynthetic metabolism. So, as an ecologist, I think this is so cool, right? But there's, maybe there's, it didn't start as a coastal thing though, but like you think maybe it could have been, some deep sea exploration in China, like oil drilling or something, the South China Sea, and they've dug something up. And, it's an extremophile bacteria, and they are endosymbiotic with, a bunch of animals that live in our hydrothermal vents, and they can store and process metallic ions, right? And they live in these very metallic, crystalline, extreme environments. Maybe there's a virus, something like a virus, in those organisms, and that's come out and that's gone into us, right? And that would explain why it's so weird, right? I think this is a really cool hypothesis. But then the emergent sites there's Hainan. One of the emergent sites is Hainan, right? So there's an island. So maybe. But yeah, it popped up in Chengdu first, so I don't know. if you believe the ant guy. Okay, and then we got, last bit here because we're going along. Yeah, come on, let's keep going. This is important. Lab studies on this is the chimp brains and stuff, right? Again, all this stuff is weird. Lab studies on chimpanzees showed some evidence of prion folding. So again, back to Team Prion, right? In the cerebral cortex, the spongiform change of intraneuronal vacuoles. So you got those classic prion symptoms of the kind of the spongy brain, right? So that's like in Kuru and fatal familiar insomnia. And it's accompanied by severe astrocytic gliosis. Don't know that. It's got a picture of some chimpanzee brains that they managed to get infected. So it's the only organism that we've managed to cross it over to, but like, yeah, I'll just read what they say. However, the diagnostic metallic infection could not be transmitted to our closest living relatives, even with repeated attempts. So it's doing something prion-like to a chimpanzee's brain. So it's doing something, but it's not in any way similar to the infection as it appears in humans, right? Like, and the infective agent is not, replicating in the same way. And they don't get that characteristic metallic, the strange colors, right? The oily colors. Similar attempts in mice, rats, and cats have all failed. Couldn't get them. So so good news. A lot of those animals are probably not. Well, actually, they're going to be cutting up to look at their brains. So yeah, there's a lot of dead animals. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this led XX. Who's this? Xian Xiao to support the extremophile bacterial zoonosis origin, as close mammalian relatives and model lab organisms were resistant to infection. So he's saying, well, this is weird. Like, I think it's similar. It's got to be some weird extremophile because it doesn't seem to infect, our close relatives. So it's not going to be a classical zoonosis, like Ebola or something, where it's sitting in a very close, ape relative and able to, stay in there and then jump off into us. And then this is it. There's just one line, and I haven't read the paper yet. Like, I got to read this paper, and it's 10 years earlier, right? Okay, before everything else. Interestingly, observational studies by Fernandez, and he's in Brazil, in ants showed signs of the diagnostic oily metallic infection. 10 years earlier. I think, God, I got to go read it, yeah? But his work, so I didn't read it first of all because he's like, okay, well, I don't know why they even left this in here, but his work is yet to be supported by other entomologists and remains unsubstantiated. So, yeah, I won't comment on that yet. I've got to go read it. I will do another one on his paper, if it's any good, okay? Just, it's a lot, I don't know. We haven't covered the nano stuff yet. So far, I think I'm in team virus with the extremophile metallic, bacteria zoonosis, right? So it's a virus that's either in an associated organism or a bacteria that's like around a hydrothermal vent, and it's somehow we've dug something up that we shouldn't have, and now it's doing something really weird in us because it's not supposed to survive, and it's replicating in a really strange way because it's used to high pressure, high temperature environments, and now it's somehow found that it can work in human hosts or on metallic substructures. So I think that's the best current idea, but more weird stuff to come. Okay. Whew. Okay. It's very late, but let's keep going. Let's do it, guys.